Volunteers recently planted 10,000 red mangroves along North Spreader Canal in Lee County. Biologists are concerned the canal's bank is eroding. That's because the Florida Department of Environmental Protection has been removing non-native plant species from the land. At about 8:30 a.m., more than 100 volunteers start launching their vessels into the Cape Coral Canal. Soon, the water is covered with kayaks, a medley of orange, red, yellow, blue, and green. David Scott is a biologist. He's also on the board of the event's organizer, Keep Lee County Beautiful, a local nonprofit. He says biologists consider red mangroves to be Florida's most valuable natural resource.
So this creates a habitat for hundreds of different fish species in their juvenile stage, as well as a substrate for oysters to grow on. The red mangrove is a buffer for a storm surge. So on any count, the red mangrove is an incredibly valuable tree.
A few ferries give rides to mangrove planters who don't have kayaks. I'm on a boat that can only fit about 8 people. 15 minutes later, the lush green shrubbery to our left begins to fade into dry brown branches. Kayaks float along the patch of barren brush, and volunteers are waist deep in the water, red mangrove propagules in hand. Propagules are seedlings that kind of look like asparagus, but with reddish brown tips. Terry Tatter is one of the biologists behind this planting initiative. He's showing our boat of volunteers how to plant the propagules.
You take this and you insert this as close as you can to the shoreline.
Tatter says to push the reddish-brown end into the shoreline about 2/3 of the way in. Then plant the next one just a few inches away, and so on. Biologist David Scott says he's happy with the day's turnout.
I think this is a beautiful thing that we get the neighborhood, all these people. We have a increased responsibility now in this area.
Keep Lee County Beautiful hopes to make this an annual event, but it won't always be at the same location.
I believe it's our moral responsibility to really get these guys going in as many places that make sense biologically.
The volunteers planted all 10,000 red mangrove propagules along the canal, replacing the exotic species that were recently removed. Biologist David Scott says they'll start taking root in just 2 days, but his work here is not finished. He plans to come back regularly with a group of local students to check on them. Scott wants the next generation to study alongside this new wave of red mangroves. Jessica Mazzaros, WGCU News.